Welcome to PaRANTing.
Hi, everybody.
It's a podcast about kids.
This is not going to matter in your
But
life.
kids shouldn't listen. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the PaRANTing podcast, everybody. I am Mark Adam here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I am joined by my cousin, the lovely, the one and only, the Katie G. And how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's episode 40, everybody.
Holy shit, we're 40.
If you're just joining us this episode, you have a lot of catching up to do. There's 39 more episodes and a couple of bonus episodes.
Random shit.
Yeah. For now, you can check us out, parentingpodcast.com, or you can check us out also through any of our social medias. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We're going to have a TikTok at some point. We do have a Twitch. Get on the Twitch. Yeah, if you want to find all that stuff, the easiest way is just to go to parentingpodcast.com. All our socials are shared there. All the places that we know of that you can listen to the podcast are shared there. You can watch the episodes live, right through the embedded YouTube videos right on the website. So I highly recommend it. And what else
absolutely.
is special about this week, cuz?
Oh my God. It's so funny that you asked that. Speaking of merch and stuff, there's a little bag behind me, which is really super cute. Well, guess what's also really awesome? The thing that's in our merch store called a mug. We're giving one away. So one of our listeners / viewers, we're giving away a mug for just because, it's episode 40 and you've put up with us this long. The least we could do is give you something to drink out of.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
It'll look like this, but with the PaRANTing logo on it. I don't have one for some reason.
I really should have had one. I've got a box of them sitting right next to me. I have the box of all of them right here. So I didn't prep well enough. We've had a little bit of, it's been a day and we were neither one of us were prepared to do this today, even though we know every Thursday, we do this every Thursday.
But I was ready. I was ready this morning and I was like, and I get excited for this every time. And then,
me too.
We run into this fucking shit all the time.
Always. Yeah, exactly. So if you would have seen on our socials, again, I think it was yesterday, day before, whatever, we kind of put out the giveaway information. But also in the post that we put out, there's a URL, which is just a link to our website that Adam put together, just the contest rules and stuff. So just to kind of give you, basically what we wanted to do is that last episode, on episode 39, we talked about TV shows from our childhood, which was very 90s specific. But things that, kind of brought back that nostalgia for us. And so we want to know what shows bring back that nostalgic feeling for you.
Yeah.
So on any of our social media platforms, so we post on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So on any of those ones, you can go to that giveaway post and just comment that whatever show or shows that kind of bring back that nostalgic feeling for you.
I'm really interested to hear what people say.
Me too.
Right?
Yeah,
what show is the defining show for you as a kid? I'm really curious because there's a bunch in my head that I remember, but I'm wondering people who are older than me are going to say different shows and people who are younger are going to say different shows,
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's probably a little bit of crossover too, especially, for us too, if we have our parents watch different things that we probably, had to sit and watch as well. But then there's also shows from their childhood that they watched as well. So anyway, I'm very excited to see those, but also more excited to give one of you a mug. And we, like I said in the post, you can also choose. We have the Bitmoji style that has our, beautiful little faces on it, which is so funny. Our whole family was like, I want the one with your faces on it. And I was like, okay, I guess so.
I know, because you were, at first when I was like, here's the Bitmoji one. And you were like, can we just get one that just has just the logo?
I know, I think that's just
this thing here. This.
Yeah. Or that. this one.
So, but then, yeah. So then you have you have the beach bag. You got the hoodie with it, with the little breast sized logo, and
yeah.
I
think it's more so because I don't want my face on something, but I understand that other people, or especially our family, would want that, because I get that. But that's why we also have the option for just the plain logo as well. So you have the choice of either one of those. We have both of them. And so, yeah, I'm really excited. I really hope that, you guys kind of throw some, I'll be posting more this week because it was kind of in celebration for the 40th episode, which is what we're currently recording, and which will be out on this Saturday. So happy Saturday. But also we're going to kind of give it a little bit more time because we were a little late getting it together.
So here's
because
the thing.
That's classic us.
We're using the topic we discussed on episode 39 and actually going to announce the winner on episode 41, but it's technically to celebrate episode 40, which is now. This. Mm-hmm. And the color on my thing just keeps going crazy. Why?
It is doing a little bit of funky stuff. What's happening over there?
I don't know. It's like going.
Yeah.
I think if I get in front of this light, it goes like, it takes all the color out of my face. Makes it all like black and white. And then all of a sudden I go back to like being the ginger flush that I am.
I don't know what's happening over there. I mean,
at least I'm not drinking liquor. If I was drinking liquor, this would be like bright red because get the Gale cheeks.
Oh yeah, that's such a family trait, isn't it? The Gale cheeks. And my mom's like that too, though. So I get from both ends.
Oh no!
Because when we get drinking, we're both just like bright red, and everyone's like, "Are you okay?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're fine. We're having a drink."
You know who's the worst for that is Doug. Doug gets the reddest. But well, maybe it's because he drinks the most. I don't know. It could be that too.
I don't know. I'd be pushing up there with the beverages. Actually, because we were getting all this stuff set up beforehand, and I was like already had like sipping on a drink, and I was like, I have to go get another drink, which I guess I could have waited to open. I opened it already to just pour into my cup because I didn't want it to be like, oh, Katie's drinking again. But we all know. We all know that I'm drinking.
We know what that noise is. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a great noise. So anyway, yeah. So as Adam said, we are going to be kind of extending it out just because we were a little bit late getting the socials out there for the giveaway, but we will be, you'll have the rest of this whole week to throw that out there. I'll be posting a little bit more stuff to remind everybody. And then, we'll be announcing it. We'll be doing it on the recording of the episode and announcing it officially on the Saturday when we actually post.
Right. So we'll be picking... all the details are on the contest page. Yeah. So if you see the posts on our socials, click on the link that takes you to the contest page, and that all the details are there. You don't have to worry about trying to remember this, that, and the other thing. They're just go to our socials. It's just way easier that way.
Exactly. So that's it. So get a little mug.
And I'll make sure that the video or the contest is like the link in bio. There'll be a link there for that. So don't worry about that.
Excellent. Look at us. We're just so prepared.
Just on top of it. So, hey, what do you want to talk about this week?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about this week?
No, don't start that
just
again.
Here? I don't know. Yeah. What do you want to say?
Yeah. Like the vultures in the Jungle Book. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? Oh, no, don't start that again.
Oh my God, I haven't seen The Jungle Book in so long. Oh, nostalgic movies. Here
right. Well, yeah, like it's everything that I reference is like, so to know the reference I have made and how clever it is, you have to have been born.
I'm going to give you the background.
Yeah. 1983. It was a balmy winter day in Nova Scotia. And anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So as I definitely am not pouring a drink.
Totally doesn't sound like alcoholic beverages are going into glassware.
No, it's just a soda water. It's good for your health. So one thing I was going to bring up, there's a couple of things that kind of have happened over, I'd say the last like month or whatever. And so obviously I have teenagers, so some of the things are just a little bit more aggravating. And I find, when you have little kids, this like know-it-all thing that they have is like kind of cute and whatever when they're little. And then as they get older, it gets a lot less cute. because they really think they know everything. So there was, what was it that happened? Had to do with driving. And so the youngest one, who does not drive nor has ever driven, seems to have a lot of opinions about how to drive. And so it was one of those things where I'm like, you're saying that, but you've never had any experience driving before. You don't know how to operate a vehicle, yet somehow you think that you already know how to drive. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm really nervous about, because she turns 16 in July, and we're going to eventually have to start teaching this child how to drive. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Like the oldest one, she's been driving now for like a year on her own and stuff, and it's great. And she was more of the one that was nervous to drive. The youngest one is very eager to drive, but I feel like that's where that I want to drive and I already know how, and just let me get in the car. I'm like really nervous about it. I don't know how to like approach it.
I had that attitude, and of course we drove a manual transmission for all the young kids that don't know what the fuck that is. It's this driving stick.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, so that was what I learned on. And so the very first thing I was like, I know what's going on. First thing I did was pop the clutch, lurch the whole car. My mom spilled her coffee all over herself. It was awesome.
Great. That's excellent.
Thanks, Mom, for not killing me that day.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing, because Jill is open to learning how to drive standard, because that's what I have. Like, it's either the truck or it's my car, which is a standard. So, I'm like, I will happily teach you, but I'm fully prepared to have to like fully replace my clutch, because I feel like there's gonna be a lot of grinding and popping of the clutch and all of those fun things.
Yeah, but I'm like, just get ready for a $1,600 bill.
Well, at this point, my car's been paid off, and it's like, you know what, whatever. At this point, I would like it to get me through a little bit, but it's a good car, I think, to learn on. And I think it's a really good skill for kids, because I think it's a very lost skill that kids don't have or want to have. Like, Allie had no interest in learning how to drive a standard, which I think it's a good thing to learn, because if you learn how to drive standard, then you can drive any vehicle. You know what I mean? If you're at a party and you were the sober one and you had to drive someone home, and you hop in their car and it's a standard, like, that's happened to me. I guess that's why I bring it up.
Right.
It's a very specific reference. I get that. But yeah, so I'm the only thing is I guess my whole point of it is that I don't know if I'm the type of person that can teach someone to drive. I don't know if that's going to be something I can do without getting frustrated. I don't know. I haven't really done it. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go. I feel like Rod, as much as he has sometimes less patience with the kids for other things, and I have more patience, I think he would have more patience when it comes to the driving.
Oh, there's my dog again.
Puppy dog. You can just see the tail. Aww.
Lay down.
It looks so funny with the green screen, because you just see the tip of the tail.
Because I have the green screen on the desk and on the wall, and he walks between them. So it's just this. Just like cut off. Like,
that's so cute. You shouldn't have even just said anything, just like watched it happen. Like, yeah, that's totally normal.
Yeah, whatever.
Just our production value.
Just up in the game over here. Speaking of which, I had the opportunity this week, and I know this is sort of like totally undermining what we were talking about, but there's a new place that opened up here in Winnipeg called The Alley, and it's this tea place, and I'm a tea drinker, as I've established a number of times, as evidenced by my 2 liters of tea that I drink daily. It's bigger than
So do you make that in the morning, and then you do it like last you the day?
Yeah. Like, because it's the one that has like, it's got the pump on the top, so you push down and it fills your cup. So I bring that camping and whatever. And then I started using it at home. Instead of like making a pot of tea and leaving it on the stove, I just make the thermos full and bring it down in the office with me, and I refill my teacup all day. But
that's great.
Yeah, it's super convenient, honestly. And the point is, I drink a lot of fucking tea. That's really the point. And so when I got invited to check out, because I run the WPG magazine for those in Winnipeg that want to know what's going on in town. and see some local business features and things like that. And one of those local business features was the alley. And so the video was actually on is on the website already, thewpg.ca. I'm sort of plugging my other project while we're here, but
how dare you?
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, check out the video. Do you mind if we play it now, or do you want me not to do that?
No, you can go ahead and play it now.
All right, we'll play it right now.
Okay.
Hey everybody, it's Mark Adam here from the WPG magazine. I was able to check this place out yesterday, and you have got to see it. If you head over to 660 Sterling Lion Parkway, you're going to find this place.
Hi, welcome to the alley. What can we get for you today?
This is Scott Duong, co-owner of The Alley. Located at 660 Sterling Lion Parkway, Scott and his sister Tiffany have brought a taste of Taiwan to Winnipeg. What began in an alley in Taiwan now has locations around the world, including across Canada. I was lucky enough to try a handful of these yesterday. And let me tell you, I wish I had more hands. Okay, was that not cool?
It was, you know what? It was really well done. I love, like, it's not very long,
right?
But it was like put together really nicely, and the teas look amazing. Because is it boba tea?
Well, it's like bubble tea. There's like, the whole tapioca thing. So
okay, but it looks amazing.
Yeah, they have like crunchy milk tea, and they have this one called the Royal Number 9 milk tea, which was very good. I think my two favorite were either the Royal Number 9, I couldn't decide if I liked that better, or the Deerioka Fever, because their whole thing revolves around the deer logo and the deer brand.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that if you read the whole article at the WPG.ca, one of the things you will learn is that the founder of the company actually hand drew that logo.
Very cool.
That became their logo. And so fans of that brand are called deer fans. And when they write all their like stuff, it's like deer fans, but they write D-E-E-R, like D-E-E-R instead of D-E-A-R.
Yeah.
Just,
that's really cool.
One little branding thing. But apparently this is like a huge internationally known company, but it's locally owned, the franchise. So the guy's like a Winnipeg guy. And when I walked in wearing my KFC t-shirt with Kyle Connor's face on it, he was like, "I love your Kyle frickin' Connor shirt." And I was like, if you'd have said fucking, we'd be way better friends. No, I'm just...
Throw a curse word in there.
But I just thought that was really cool. That it's one of the cool perks of running the magazine is I get invited to do stuff like that. Where though it was literally me, the staff, and then this like PR person, and that was it. And I just thought
cool.
Like it was just really cool. And I had a bunch of the different drinks, and they were.
I was gonna say, did you get to sample like?
They made me like a bunch of them, and I took some video and
took
photos and tasted them, and so I wrote the article about it, and I was like, man, these are dope. But that when I put the video together, I wanted something that was kind of shorter, that a little because 90 seconds is the most you can put on like Instagram Reels or something. I forget.
Okay.
It's 90 seconds is one of the time limits for one of the social medias. And so I wanted to keep it under that. So it's like a minute 26 or something. And so I kept it short. I kept it sweet, to the point. Like, here's what you can get. Here's what it is. Here's the basics. Read the article for more info. So it was a lot of fun. It was very cool. So that was something really cool that happened to me this week, which I got to take advantage of because it happened to be, I booked it for 2:00. So kid back to school at 1, go do the thing at 2. At 3:00, I had to run away to go get Amelia from school. So made it work.
That's awesome. No, it looks really cool. I would love, like, I was telling you before, there's like there's like all of these like boba tea shops that are like in downtown Halifax that I didn't know about, because I I don't know.
Because you live in
I just don't
Tantallon?
really. Yeah, well, I guess. But I mean, I work downtown.
Fair.
But there were some colleagues that were talking about it, and we've been really kind of pushing I think I mentioned last week, like the kind of mental health awareness stuff and trying to like just get away from your desk. And that was kind of one of the things that came up. We're like, let's get just a couple of us and just go over and check out some new boba teas, like go over and get a boba tea and kind of like get away. So I'm like, I really need to check that out. Because I wasn't sure at first if I would like something like that where it has things inside of a drink. Like I wasn't sure I would be into that, but I'm definitely going to try it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be. I'm very much of a texture person when it comes to like food and stuff aney.
Me
so
too.
I'm not sure
and I was
like,
worried about the tapioca
like,
thing. The first time I had
Yeah.
bubble tea, I was like, am I going to like this?
Right.
But it's very cool. It's a very cool
Okay.
texture. I really enjoy it.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. Well, I'm excited to try it. And if I try it within the next week, then I'll let you know next week
Do
how
it.
it went. I
Do
will.
it. I forget where. I don't think that this place that opened up here has a location in Halifax. Maybe they do.
I have no idea. We can find out. We'll Google it.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. But in
Yeah,
the
I'll figure it
meantime,
out.
in the
Yeah.
meantime, I'm sorry I derailed our conversation, and I forget what we were talking about.
Us
You were
getting off
talking about something.
topic? Are you kidding me?
What were you
That's
talking
not
about a
what we
minute
do.
ago?
Teaching kids how to drive.
Oh yeah, that
Hmm.
totally different direction. So sorry, but okay. Where did you learn to drive? Like, where was the spot that you learned like how to drive?
So I grew up in Falmouth, which is a little country. It's like towards the valley if you live in Nova Scotia, so like kind of the valley way towards like Annapolis Royal. But so anyway, so I lived in Falmouth, and so there's a lot of like different back roads and dirt roads and like, just very like, not on the main roads. So I actually learned how to drive standard. My boyfriend at the time, so I was 16, and he got this like really shitty beater, like Thunderbird though. Like I had a hard time opening the door because they're so heavy.
Back
So
when
like,
cars were made out of metal and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It was just heavy as fuck. And I like I'd like put all of my effort into just opening the door. So he actually, a few times we went out to what it's called the Bog Road. So that's what it was. We all just refer it to the Bog Road. So we would go out there. It's like a dirt road, pretty remote. And you just go out there, and that's where I started to learn. And so that's where I started to learn how to drive his car, like a standard. But then my mom and my stepdad, we had a giant, like, it was like the brand was like Lumina van, like this big silver giant van. And like that was the vehicle I had to learn on. And then when I was with dad, he had a truck. So like I never learned on like a small vehicle before. So, but those were my experience. Like I learned on like a back road, and then obviously parking lot, you kind of do a little bit of stuff in like an empty parking lot. But the biggest part was really just, once I got onto the main roads, one of the things I do remember when I first started driving on a main road with other vehicles coming towards me is that I loved to hug the shoulder. I was terrified of like the other car hitting me, and you just don't really know the size of the vehicle you're driving. So I was really paranoid about being too close to like the yellow line. So I would like Ricky, I remember him a couple of times, my stepfather, he would be driving with me, and he'd be like, all right, you're getting a little close to the shoulder there. But like, he was really great. Like, that's what I mean. I appreciated him being so calm, because like I clearly was like, obviously stressed and, whatever, driving a vehicle. So he was very good about that. But I definitely,
My mom was way more stressed than me.
I think that's the thing. It depends on the kid, right? Like I was very much a nervous and cautious like driver right away. Like I was very nervous to do it. And then I got more comfortable the more I did it.
I'm trying to remember where my dad was, because I think he was away. I think he was at sea when I was learning to drive originally.
Okay.
But by the time I actually like turned 16 or like got my actual license, I think he was home. I think he was home for that. Oh yeah, he was. The very first time I pulled the car out of the driveway, I have a story for that. But to answer my own question to you, I learned how to drive in the Woodlawn United Church parking lot. So for those in Dartmouth, right near where like I went to high school, one of my high schools, Prince Andrew. So in the Woodlawn area there's a little tiny pond. It's called Morash Park. And there's this big parking lot that's empty every day but Sunday because it's a church parking lot. So we just went out there and just that's where, like, when I said I popped the clutch my very first time because I was like, fuck it, I know what I'm doing. That was the day. So
that's really funny.
So that was there, and that was my very first time behind the wheel, in control of the vehicle, and my mom wore her coffee. So that
sorry, Chris. Meh. That's how you learn.
You live, you learn, you wear some coffee sometimes. It happens.
Exactly. I actually have a funny coffee story, but I won't get into that right now because that would totally derail us. But I'll write it down for another day.
Yeah, write it down. Just put a note there. Yeah, exactly.
I just put a little note. I'll put a little note. We'll get back to that if we have time.
I should have I used to have Post-it notes. Since I moved my my whole setup here, I don't have I don't know where my markers are. They're somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's fine. I'll write some stuff down if I need to. One of the things I was gonna say. So one thing I will say about when I first started learning to drive a standard, like I said, my boyfriend had this like big giant Thunderbird. What I didn't realize, because I was a brand new driver, when I went to go buy a new vehicle, side story, I'll get to it, but like it was, we always grew up with like secondhand vehicles. Like they were never brand new vehicles. It was always like, I wouldn't say beater cars, but they were definitely like not top notch. A lot of the time it was just whatever you could afford, right? That's what you do.
Right.
So when I went to go get my own vehicle, I was adamant. I'm like, I'm getting a brand new vehicle because of a couple of stories, but I'm like, I refuse to like have to break down and constantly fix my vehicle. I want to just get a new vehicle. So that was what it was. So Mom and I went to the Mazda dealership in Kentville, bless her, because, she came with me and we did the whole thing. And I was adamant about buying a standard. So in the backstory is I only had gone out a few times to drive my boyfriend's car. Right. So what I didn't realize is that an old Thunderbird clutch and a brand new Mazda, like little Mazda 3 hatchback clutch are very different. So what happened was instead of me popping the clutch, I floored it and screeched the tires because I was afraid to stall it. So we went out of the parking lot and my mom's like, dear God. Like, so I was like, I'll get the hang of it sometime, Mom. Don't worry about it. I ended up buying it anyway because I'm like, I'll learn. I have to keep driving and I'll learn. But that was one thing that was really funny that I didn't take into consideration that different vehicles have like that different. If you have ever driven a standard, that like clutch to gas ratio is very different in vehicles.
Every different vehicle you get in, it's like, and same with like the brakes.
Know that.
The brakes, how hard you have to apply the brakes varies from car to car, and it changes in your car over time as the brakes wear down. And then when you get your brakes replaced, you have to learn all over again that you don't jam on the brakes.
Yeah, you barely touch them and you slam it. Yeah, exactly.
Because otherwise, everyone's wearing their coffee and somebody's wearing the dashboard. So
exactly, someone's gonna get a bruise on their head from hitting their face off of the dashboard.
Someone.
Yeah, exactly. Not me. I'll be fine. I'll be driving. Anyway, I thought that was really funny. And I'm like, Mom, God love her. She was.
So that was your first car then?
Yeah. Well, yes. So I bought a car that was like a secondhand car. And like when I was younger, when I think it was like $400 or something. I paid for this like Ford Tempo, but like the sport version, like whatever it was. It was like a green, like standard. Anyway, it was like this old Ford Tempo basically. And so I never ended up actually driving it because I got into my mind where I'm like, I don't want to have to be dumping all of my money into a car. So that's how I ended up down the road of buying a vehicle. So I ended up just selling that one. So technically it was my second, but I never actually drove that other one. So I'll say, it was. So, and one of the things is that I had such a hard time. It took me so long to figure out the right ratio just to get out of first. Like that was a really hard one.
That's the toughest one.
Yeah, because I kept stalling.
One is like stopped to moving is the hardest transition. After that, everything's much easier.
Yeah, hills is wild. Like like you have to be like, especially because I drive into the city, into Halifax, and like if you get stuck in traffic and you're kind of on a hill, you're just I'm just revving back and forth because of course people don't give you the space.
For those in Winnipeg listening to this podcast, hills are a thing where like the ground is higher in one place than the other.
Halifax is a hill, so if you ever come here, you're just on a hill.
Yeah, like there is no not driving on a hill in Halifax, and in Winnipeg,
you're elevated or not.
You have to like go to places, and all the hills here are man-made. Like they're like piled up garbage, and then they put dirt on top, and they're like, "There's a hill. There's a hill here." It's literally called Garbage Hill, and it's the biggest hill in Winnipeg.
Are you serious?
Not a joke. Not a joke.
Garbage Hill.
And it has...
That's like not King of the Hill at all.
Garbage Hill. You know, like the Hollywood sign? There's the giant sign that says Garbage Hill.
Wow.
It's a real thing.
So when you get there, like, do you take a picture in front of it? I'm like, I visited Garbage Hill.
So here's a picture of my kids.
What'd you guys do today? Just like, it's like a Christmas card, and it's just Garbage Hill in the background.
No, like people in Winnipeg, it's not even you don't even think about it. Like it's an off-leash dog park, first of all.
Okay.
But it's literally a bunch of garbage piled up, and then they put dirt on it, and then they were like, well, that's fine. And let's just leave it alone. And now it's
so bizarre. I've never heard of that.
And yeah, It's a thing.
What are we going to do with this garbage? I don't know. Put dirt on it, make a hill.
It's not the only place they've done it.
That's wild. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow. Okay, well, I mean, the more you know. Or what is that?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We learn something new every day here on the podcast.
It's true. Anyway, I didn't want to like derail your whole thing. So driving on hills is a bitch, and I agree in a standard. You really have to be quick on the let go of the brake, hit the gas, let go of the clutch.
But like not too quick, because then you're going to slam into somebody, right? But that's the one thing too, is like I tried to like talking to the oldest because she is driving. I'm like, please don't tailgate people. I know that you learn it and not to do it, but I'm like, it is so, because there's been a few occasions where even just on our road on the way home that I've had people tailgating me like so close to me, and there's like a certain section of the road that you can actually pass somebody, and so like but it's like you do like between 70 and 80 on this road, but I was just like, when that happened a couple times with her in the vehicle with me, and I said, do not ever do that. Like, just don't do that to people. I was like, and especially because that was one of the things I told them too is, I was like, you don't know if someone's driving a standard. So someone like me, I have it in my thought where if someone gets too close behind me on a hill, I'm going to roll back. Like, you know what I mean? So like,
I have been rear-ended. Whoa, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I moved to Winnipeg in 2014.
Yeah, you said that you've been like,
yeah. The first car I bought here, I had this really nice 2010 Ford Escape that I really loved, and I got rear-ended so hard it got written off. And that's when I bought the Journey I have now. 3 months later, I got rear-ended, got that fixed because it wasn't that bad, which was good because the first time I got hit so hard, like the seat I was sitting in broke. I couldn't get it to come back up because he hit me from behind so hard that it broke the mechanism in my chair. I could not lean the seat back up. And so...
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
It was fucking crazy. And my first thought when I'm like... Because I get bang! And of course I didn't see the guy coming or nothing. Bang! And like I'm staring at the ceiling of my SUV. And my first thought is, oh, fuck, Amelia. Because... You know,
right.
So I turned and she's not with me, but like I got hit so hard, it was so disorienting and so crazy that like my first thought was, holy fuck, my kid. And the kid wasn't even in the car.
Yeah.
So
you just had like a full like full on like panic mode.
Yeah. So then the next time I got rear-ended, she was in the car with me. We were out at Red River Exhibition, and so she's in the car with me, and we got rear-ended, but it wasn't bad. I was like inching towards going, and there was traffic coming, and I'm trying to make a right. And the guy behind me, he wasn't paying attention, thought I had gone, and just gunned her and like smash.
And you're like, oh, still here.
Yeah. So that was the second
Yeah.
time. The third time was in a parking lot. This, like, I'm backing up, and this lady stopped, and I looked at her, and then, like, I started backing up again, and then she went. The fuck?
You're like, okay.
Yeah, and I'm
Clearly
at fault.
we weren't on the same wavelength here.
And I was at fault because my car was moving backwards in a
of
parking lot.
course. Right. I thought it was all like 50-50. Is that not a thing?
Nope.
Is it all
There's
just,
no 50-50 in a parking lot here. Not a
Oh,
thing.
there. Right. Okay.
Manitoba, different province, right? Different rules.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking about that.
Like the insurance here is a scam. It's all run by the government. It's called Manitoba Public Insurance. You can't get insurance. There's no private auto insurance in Manitoba.
Really?
It's all provided by the province, and you pay
Wow.
whatever they fucking tell you to pay. There's no shopping. There's nothing.
That's
it's like you drive.
wild.
You're a man who is this age driving this vehicle. Pay this. It's a formula they have. There's
that's it.
There's no negotiating. But there's like,
That's wild.
yeah. So all the insurance agencies in town, they're like, we sell AutoPack, so that because they get a commission on it for selling it to you, but they don't have. It's the same shit. It doesn't matter where you go. They're selling you the same fucking insurance. There's no
Right.
There's no options. You can get basic.
Whereas here, there's like all kinds of different insurance like places you can go to for your
Right.
for all of your different kind of insurance, not just vehicle. Right. That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's a whole thing. And then the last time I got rear-ended, that was this guy that was super fucked up. Like the whole thing got covered because the guy got arrested and everything. But he was super fucked up. It wasn't just drunk. He was like high on some shit. Like Winnipeg, high on meth, like stole a car.
Jesus.
Yeah. The back of my car got smashed up real good. And I had Jamie in the car with me that time. That was only last year. And
Yeah.
and because we talked about that on the podcast actually.
We did. Yeah.
And then so the person behind me got it way worse. Like, and I don't even know how he hit her so hard from the side when he was coming. Like, we're all going this way, and he hit her in the side so hard that the entire side of her car was buckled in. She couldn't even open the door.
That's crazy.
Like, the fire and paramedics had to like help her get out by dragging her out the other side of the car.
Yeah. Wow. Good times. Isn't it just
Yeah,
good reminiscing about all those?
But the point is, like, every time I get hit, it's in the back. There's
Yeah.
no need to tailgate. Pay attention to what you're doing. Stay the fuck off your phone.
Yeah, exactly. Just pay attention.
2 out of the 4 times I've been hit, somebody was texting while driving.
Mm-hmm.
And the other time, one guy was
One
like,
was on meth.
one was on
and
meth,
then
so whatever. That's an unavoidable
that's a
tragedy.
whole other planet.
Yeah. And it's fucked because when he kept ramming me, and then he literally took off. And I was like, what? And of course, Jamie's
You're like-
screaming her head off because he hit us 3 times. Like, he hit the back of me, backed up, hit me again, backed up, hit me again, backed up, and then drove away.
Jesus. Wow.
And so every time he hit us, Jamie's like, ah! And I was like, oh,
Well,
fuck.
yeah, that'd be friggin' scary.
Yeah.
I'd be terrified too. I talked about it too, but I only ever been rear-ended once, and it wasn't even like on the road. It was in a drive-through by some little man in a big truck, unfortunately. But he was really great about it. Thankfully,
But did he
it
have
all,
little
worked
mouth
out.
syndrome?
Yeah, just little man syndrome, because he had like a truck that was you could probably run over other vehicles with. So
Right. So a penis extension. Right. Got it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like the add-on.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So,
I hope they like that I have a gold card. That's that vehicle.
yeah.
I'm gifted in other
Exactly.
ways.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's just like the paying attention and just not being that close to people. Like, especially I drive in the city every single day. And so there is, they say bumper to bumper traffic, like you're going to be close to people. But like, if you're on just like a straightaway, that's a little different as long as you're paying attention, like you said. But like on the hill thing, like I'm very adamant about if I'm on a hill and there's people behind me, if they're not like right directly behind me, I'll do like the roll back and then go forward and roll back. So I'm like, just letting you know, I roll back. Like, you know what I mean? Just giving people a heads up, like I am driving in standard. I'm going to roll back. Like, please keep your distance. It's basically fuck off. Like, it's just like, you know what I mean? Please don't get that close to me. A, I don't like people. And B, I don't want to get rear-ended today. So that's kind
Don't
of like
stand.
my thoughts.
Don't stand so. Don't stand so close to me.
Yeah, exactly. That was a really good, that got like a little bit of a boost there during COVID, right? Like that song got played quite a bit over the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And what was the other one? Sweet Caroline was like banned. Like
it was
reaching
banned?
out, touching hands, touching you, touching me. Fucking no!
Stop touching things. We want people
Sweet
to not touch
Caroline, please fuck off. Wear a mask and stay away. I don't know if those were the lyrics. That was whatever. Never mind.
Sure. We'll go with that.
So, welcome to the podcast. So we're gonna start.
So, if you're still here, hi, hello.
My first car that I drove, that was essentially my car, was the Plymouth Acclaim. Technically, it was my parents' car, but we had two cars, and I drove that one basically all the time.
Right.
Till my dad took it to get pizza one day or something, and he got rear-ended by some old lady, and then it got rode off. So
it's all the rear ending. What is up with that?
I don't know. Well,
I don't know. See, one of the things I was going to say about, my bad experiences with vehicles, I was never, knock on wood even before, but when I got rear-ended in the drive-thru, that was the first time I was ever in an accident ever. That was the first time that I've ever experienced anything like that. So, but what I have experienced, which is what led me to get a brand new vehicle when I was purchasing a vehicle, was when I was learning to drive. Of course, like I said, we had, second, third, fourth hand vehicles, whatever it was. And so at the time when I was learning to drive, it was the big giant Lumina van. And then my stepfather had, I forget the make of the car. It was just kind of like this white boat, I called it, because it was like a white, it was almost like those Oldsmobile.
Crown Vic?
Maybe it was just it was like a big kind of a boat. So
my mom had the Mercury. What was it called? Mercury. It was the same as because it was the Ford Crown Victoria and the Mercury.
I have no idea.
That's gonna bug me now. But anyway, continue.
The Mercury Fuck. Okay.
The Mercury Fuck. What a model.
The Mercury Fuck was a great model. So for that vehicle, one time, so I have a stepbrother as well, and so his mother lived. Like I said, I grew up in Falmouth, so over in Windsor is where his mother lived. So Ricky, or he wanted to go over. My stepdad's Ricky, so he was going to take my stepbrother Ryan over to his mom's, and he's like, "Do you want to drive?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, I do." So we go over to take Ryan over to his mother's, and so where his mother lived was up on top of a hill. And so we were on our way down the hill, and at the end of the hill, it's a stop sign. And then you have to turn right or left. There's no straight, because if you go straight, you're into a cow field. And we used to live out that way when we were younger too. We used to live out there, and there's a whole other story about Ricky chasing a cow. I'll mark that down, but it's a hilarious story. Anyway, we'll save that for another time. So
what is this show? What are we even doing here?
Listen, we've just got stories. I've got things to say, and they have nothing to do with the other thing. And it's just, that's how we get down this road, because I was driving, and then there's a cow, and then we can go on and on. It just, nothing ever lines up. It's just, you go off on a tangent.
Speaking of which, the car I was thinking of was a Grand Marquis. It was my mom's big, long, white boat, which is the Mercury version of the Ford Crown Vic, which was the largest sedan they made, which I bought a different one later, which is the first car I actually owned was a Crown Vic. Anyway, continue your story.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. No, it's good. So anyway, driving the white boat down the hill, like I said, so you come to a stop sign, it's straight as a field. So we were turning right to leave that subdivision-ish area, whatever. We get down, we're kind of going down this pretty steep hill, and we're going down, and I go to put the brake on, and my foot goes all the way to the floor. And I was like,
been there.
I was like, so I can't brake. My foot is all the way down. And so thankfully, this is another thing. Ricky was so just chill. I'm like, how are you so chill in this situation? I'm freaking out, and I don't know what to do. And so he like kind of walked me through kind of what to do. We basically thankfully we weren't going very fast. It was just one of those things where I was able to like kind of pump the brakes enough to slow us down.
Right.
And then we were able to like turn slowly. And then it was basically just praying that we could just make it home by like gliding and not having to make full stops anywhere. So that's kind of like the thing. So that happened. So that's me driving his vehicle. Second time, another thing that happened was in this big giant Lumina van. I literally took it down. So down the road, I used to work at the Quickway store in Falmouth. And so
Quick
it
with
was
the
like,
K.
yes, exactly. The Quickie Mart, as we used to call it, of course. Reference to The Simpsons.
Who needs the Quickie Mart?
Yeah. Thank you. Come again. So I drove down there, and I don't know if I was working or whatever. It doesn't matter. I was there and I was on my way back home, and I went to go down, like to get to our house. And I turned and the whole van just like sunk. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell happened? And I'm like, I like couldn't move it. And I was like, fuck's sakes. So
Tire fell off.
No, the tie rod and snapped. So anyway, I was able to get, just on the one side, it just snapped on the right-hand side. And so what we were able to do, so of course my stepfather had to come get me, and he was able to straighten out the wheel enough to just, because thankfully that road that I was turned onto, it's literally, you drive straight to our house. Like you just drive down that road. So it was, anyway, so he was able to get it and MacGyver it so that we could get it back to the driveway. So these are like the experiences that I had driving my parents' vehicles that like traumatized me. And then I'll to say one more story. Same van was going to take all of my friends to go to the movies in Sackville. Loaded everybody up. I'm like, let's go to the movies. We get onto the highway from Windsor. We didn't even make it. And there was smoke barreling out of the front of the car. It just overheated. And anyway, I left the house. I came home in the tow truck. And my mom was like, for fuck's sakes, like every time I take the vehicle, like it was always me. They could drive that vehicle and nothing would ever happen. As soon as I got into their vehicles, that everything like that happened. I was like, you know what? Never again. Never again am I driving your vehicles.
I got pulled over in the Acclaim one time, and for like speeding or whatever. And there were 6 of us in the car at the time, and we
of course
got a warning. Whatever, was 16 or 17. They were just like, don't be dummies. And so that was just it. And we were super close to my house too at the time. Anyway, so I don't think anything of it, whatever. And the cop did the fucking slyest thing that totally fucked me. Because I was like, I'm never telling my dad about this. Nobody ever fucking mentioned this to my parents.
Oh,
right?
no.
I'll never be allowed to drive again, blah, blah, blah. Because we've discussed the strictness of my father before. But anyway.
Yes.
So, anyway, a couple of weeks later, my dad's like, hey, come here. And he sits me down. He's like, so I want you to explain to me what happened when the cop pulled you over. Woo, flushed. Like
oh, no.
Yeah. So I'm like,
that's a holy fuck moment.
So then apparently what the cop had done was written up a warning and then put it in the thing that my insurance and registration and whatever was in.
Oh, that's sneaky bugger.
So I put it back in the fucking glove box. And Dad found it. So.
How did he even find that? Because the amount of times I ever opened the insurance or whatever, it goes in my glove box and I don't look at it.
There was
ever.
a reason, and I forget what it was.
Okay. That is, I would die. So what did you do? Like you were just like,
I just told him what happened. I told him.
Okay. So did you get like in trouble, or was he just
he was upset about it.
Yeah.
I think I might have been grounded. I don't remember. But I was.
When wasn't I grounded?
Well, it's funny. The very, very first time I took that car, like on my own, the very first time, and every time I put my hand here, it changes my color. So what's that about?
You're what? Oh, like what does this have to do with the story?
Sorry, just the color on my face, and then I bring my arm up, and it goes black because all the color's over here. Qu'est-ce que fuck?
Okay.
Anyway, that's now I know I know what to look for later to figure out how. But anyway, very first time I go to drive that car, I'm going to take it to school, I think. I think I was going to take it to school. So then I back out of the driveway and I go and I stall right there in the fucking front street. Like my parents are waving, like congratulating me on taking the car out for the first time. And it fucking stalls. And I was just like so embarrassed.
Oh, that's the worst.
It was the worst.
That's the worst. Oh, I hate that. You know, even to this day, I hate when, like, if I'm backing into a spot, because I try more often than not, if I can back into a parking spot, I will, depending on how busy the area is. I hate it when there's people around, like, watching you do it. You feel like, I feel panicked. I'm like, stop looking at me. And then, of course, you're going to, like, fuck up and have to do it a couple more times. That's how I feel anyway.
As an adult who is pushing 40 at this point, okay?
Questionable, but okay.
As a person who is of the age of an adult, yes. I am very good in a crisis now.
Okay.
When I was 16, I was like weirdly lanky, tall. I was awkward, not just around girls, but also around girls. I was just awkward all the way around. And so when bad things would happen, I would just like, well, I don't know what to do now. So sometimes I would just panic and melt down. But in that moment, I was just like, and I just turned the car back on, just breathed, and then I drove away and I looked over and my parents are laughing their asses off.
Dying laughing. That's the best.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. There was one occasion where, like, so we back into our driveway on, like, you know, we back into our driveway. And so the oldest was, you know, she has her car or whatever. And so one day she decided that she was going to try and back in. So I told him, like, you need to practice backing in. I was like, I find sometimes I like parking next to a car because I find sometimes it's really hard to see the lines, right? If I'm trying to back up. So, like, if I have a car next to me, I find I have a better angle, I guess. That's just me personally. That's how I think of it. So I'm like, she tried to back up one day and she nearly took the side off of my car. Cause we were watching same thing, watching in the window, Rod and I watching her back in. And I was like, oh, she's going to hit my car. Oh God, and then it was like, nope, she's fine. She like straightened out and then came back in again. But she came in the house and she was like, it's just not for me.
Yeah. See, and I back in every day. Like, in my backyard, we have a giant cement pad, but I back in so that, like, when I want to go somewhere, I just straight out. Because and
I think it's better to drive out into traffic than it is to back out into traffic.
Exactly. And I mean, like, for us, it's a back alley. But the problem is that, especially like if I want to turn left out of my back, it's very narrow.
Right.
And so, like, if I wanted to go right and I was backing out, I'd have to like back into a very awkward. Whereas like my gate opens the width of a car and like almost another car. So when I back in, I've all this leeway. I can go like I can miss it by a lot and still get in. You know?
Right.
Like there's
no, that's fair.
So it's way easier to back in and then just drive out and never like. So when I want to go left, I just go slow, take a little wider and make that turn. But backing out of that would be fucking awkward all the time.
Yeah, so. Exactly. And like, that's the thing. Like, it's more of, I think it's more of an opportunity thing where sometimes I just drive in straight because there's like people behind me and I just don't want to, it's just laziness. I'm just like, nah, I don't want to do that today.
What is with Nova Scotia? Because when I was starting to drive, they had just recently, like within the last couple of years before that, stopped testing people for parallel parking. That's not a thing that you get tested for when you get your license.
I don't know.
Why? No idea. Why? Like that's an important skill that almost fucking nobody has.
I don't remember doing that when I did my license. I don't remember doing parallel parking
when
I got
mine in Nova Scotia. But it's still part of the test here in Manitoba.
Okay.
So I
don't know.
You have to do a parallel park. You get they give you're supposed to be able to do it within 1, 2, 3 points. And you get 2 tries. If you don't get it on the second try, like, then no, it's an automatic fail. They don't even take you for a drive. You
Wow.
just straight up fail your test. Then you have to rebook, and it's a fucking nightmare.
Jesus.
But-
That's insane.
But
It's an important skill, but
it is
still.
an important skill that should be part of the test. The way that it's administered. The thing about Manitoba is they're like, here's a good idea that we're gonna awkwardly implement it really like the dumbest way possible. Like, this is an important thing that should but the way that they manage stuff is just like, why would you do it that way? Of all the ways that you could do this, there's like 4 that are really fucked up, and there's like 5 that are like very easy, low problematic ways to do things, and you choose one of the 4 fucked up ones, and almost always the most fucked up one. But like,
They just like to keep it spicy, you know? They just want to keep
fucking swear to God.
Keep everyone on their toes.
It's the Manitoba government way. Like, they just can't do anything the fucking normal, easy, simple, common sense way. But
No,
I
agree.
digress.
I agree.
The point is that you have to do that here. And it is a fucking skill that no one has. Even people who, like, all these people who pass their fucking driver's tests cannot fucking parallel park. And the streets are flat as fuck here.
Right.
Like, there's no, you're not worried about parallel parking on a fucking hill.
Right.
Like, there's no like, okay, at the end, you got to make sure you turn your wheels towards the curb or away from the curb if you're pointed up the hill, whatever. Like, the point is, you don't have to worry about turning your wheels and losing point. Like, when you
Yeah, you
park,
literally just go in.
everything is flat.
Yeah.
You back in, you're done. And like, I've got it down where like I just back in once, and maybe I'll pull forward a bit just to like give the guy behind me some
Yeah.
space. But I can get in one motion. But I watch people, and they're like literally like sideways driving up the curb, and you're like, did you think maybe you should straighten the wheel out at some point? Like, fucking idiots.
I think well, I mean, if it's not mandated and you don't do it very often, it could be pretty difficult. I do find that I see a lot of people do that in Halifax, though. I think there's, for the majority, like, it happens all the time because parking is so fucking limited now because everything's a bus lane or a bike lane, that the parking is very limited in downtown Halifax now.
Yeah.
That when people find a spot, they're not waiting for anything. They're like, I'm backing up and you're going to wait for me. Like, that's kind of the vibe. And we're
which
all
is how
aware
it
of it.
fucking
We're like,
should be, honestly. Like,
yeah, I'm like, no, we'll wait. I'm like, because like some people are so impatient though, which is what drives me crazy. Like, yeah, like I can get road rage too, like the next person. But like if I see someone that
so
wants to get in
fucked
that spot,
somebody's
like,
parking.
just chill.
Like,
just chill.
3 seconds, they'll be out of the
Yeah,
way.
it's
like,
not a big
fucking
deal.
just chill.
I know, it's so bad.
It's the people that aggravate me are the ones that like they go to back in and then they don't straighten up and then they gotta like come back out and then back in and then back
Yeah.
out and back like
Yeah, at
fucking
that point
just
I might get a little
get in there.
irritated. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I might get a little annoyed
like
with that.
I'm
for
I'm
sure.
not mad because I'm waiting. I'm mad because you're stupid. Like, there's a difference.
It's a little column A, little column B.
I'm not upset about the time this is taking. I'm upset that you're this dumb. Like,
See, I'm more upset about the time. I'm like, I'm sitting here waiting for you to back out.
well, for me, it's more the safety.
Yeah.
Like, if this is how you park, how poor of a driver are you? Like, are you a liability? Are my children safe being anywhere fucking near you? The fuck?
Oh my god. We'll just say maybe no.
Probably no.
Anyway, you know what? On that note, let's do top tweets.
Yeah. Well, fuck. We're way. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that and get the fuck
You
out
know
of
what's fun? Because like we started a new thingy that we're like recording on and all that fun stuff. And I can actually see a timer now, which is really kind of fun. But I also wanted to do it because I didn't prepare, even though I'm always prepared and nothing ever goes wrong, ever. But I was trying to scroll through because I'm like, I can't remember which ones that I was picking. So
I'm knocking on wood for you.
okay.
Speaking of which, I moved my mic to a different, like it's anchored on a different thing. Does this make the same noise it did last week?
I don't know. I hear knocking, but I don't know.
But you're not hearing that. Remember last week when I was banging
Like
on
a
the desk?
thud?
And it was like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, no, I don't hear that.
Because there's the metal, like my desk has like a metal frame and it's got a wood top. So when I hit it, all the metal just like vibrates. It's like boom.
Clanks together.
Yeah.
Right. That's fair. That is fair.
So
Okay,
anyway,
all
yeah,
right.
it's because it's on this other.
So anyway.
It's on this other desk.
Okay, top tweet number 1. Let's get this going. I found it. Well, I found the first one. Okay, this one is from Just Like a TV Mom. Sorry, at Just Like a TV Mom. I don't know if I said the at. Anyway, my favorite part of bedtime is when my 3-year-old becomes one of my drunk friends in college. I love you so much. You were so special to me. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And I love the pillow. Let's sing. No, let's not sing. Oh my God, look at my foot. I wish I had a car. Passes out. Like, I remember those like random, like the kids always wanted to talk. That's when they all wanted to talk, was at bedtime, because it's a stalling thing. That's what they do. So you're like, when I asked you what you did today and you said absolutely nothing, and then come bedtime, you have all of these stories to tell me. And it's the same thing. They just go on and on and on. I'm not tired, blah, blah, blah. And then like 2 seconds later, they're out.
In our house, it's like fun, 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 fun. And then as soon as it's fucking close to bedtime, even a little bit, and especially with my youngest, because I co-parent, she uses the whole, I miss my mom. I'm like, you didn't miss her 5 minutes ago.
Yeah,
I told you to go to bed. And now you're like, no, that's
all of a
no.
sudden you're pulling that card.
we will like, you can call your mom from here anytime except for as soon as I tell you bedtime, and you go from happy to I'm sad. Like, no, not buying it.
You're not manipulating me tonight, lady. Go to bed. Yeah.
No. Because I know,
I get you.
Like, if she does that to her mom, I know her, like, I'm not getting any fucking phone calls at bedtime. So I know her mom's not letting her do it. So
that's right. Yeah, exactly. Kids, man, they'll talk about anything just to avoid going to sleep.
Anything.
And then as an adult, we're like, I just want to go to sleep. It's funny how we just miss all those nap times. What a waste. What a waste. We waste naps on kids for what? Should be adults that get naps. Anyway,
honest to God.
Opinion. Literally.
Like,
I understand siesta. That makes so much sense to me.
I got up and I got Jamie off to school, and then I went back to bed this morning. I was like, fuck this. I'm taking another hour and this is happening. So, and I did.
Yeah. Good for you. I would love to do that. All right.
Because I work from home, right? I work, like, I generally work, like last night I was at my desk until 2 a.m, right? Just doing all this editing and all this stuff. So like, because I still have bar hours in my head. Like, I'm running on like industry time, which is
you're still like a night owl. You know,
my productive hours are like 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. Like, those are my productive hours. It's when I feel I feel the most like doing shit. You know, exactly. And that's when the kids are like, can we have a movie night? Can we go here? Can we go to the dog park? Can we get slushies? Can we get da-da-da-da-da? It's like, fuck. Like,
no, go to bed.
Can I get some work done? Like,
no, you may not.
But the problem is that the kids are out of the house all day, so I try and take advantage of that time to do as much as I can. And then when they get home, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like, I want to hang out with them. I want to, trying to like have a relationship with my kids that isn't like, welcome home from school. Was it good? Cool. See you in the basement. You know?
Bye.
And I just disappear.
Yeah, I get that. That's why it's good to like do stuff. It is good to do stuff together. I get that. Oh, I just kicked something. Sorry if my stuff just went over. Things are falling apart on the rails over here. Okay, top tweet number two. Yeah, this one I found like quite a few from this person, and some of his are like a little vulgar, but they're actually like kind of really straight to the point and hilarious. So we haven't done one of these before, but it's at Stone Cold Daddy.
I don't like that at all.
This tweet is, my favorite is when my kids give me advice on cooking, driving, parenting, and everything else they've never done a day in their fucking lives. Yes. Yeah, that's also my favorite.
My youngest the other day was trying to give me financial advice, and I was just like, you shut your tiny little pie hole.
Well, you just use the card that has money on it, right? It's just free money.
That right? Like, you don't have cash in your pocket? Just use the plastic one. Like, that's right. There has to be money on that too, bitch. Like,
that money got to go from this paper shit to in that thing. I got to put it in there. That's how that works.
Yeah, that money don't grow on trees. No, it grows on digital trees. Money is a concept now. It's not a physical thing anymore, as far as I'm concerned. Like, having cash in my pocket is like the rarest thing. Since the pandemic started, I can count on one hand the number of times I've had actual cash.
Oh, yeah.
It's just not a fucking thing.
Yeah. I haven't had cash since I worked in the restaurant. Like, I don't have cash anymore.
And even the last restaurant I worked at, well, like, I say restaurant, it was a members club, right? So everything just went on their bills. like all the gratuities were like just automatically
On the bill.
put on there. Like it wasn't.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah.
It was
I
fucked.
know. Cash is like it's a weird concept these days.
It's fucked up. But like that's crazy. Like, because 2 years of the pandemic, but then it was, I worked there for a couple of years, so it's been like 4 or 5 years since like cash has been a normal thing for me to have all the time. Because when I was working at other bars, like that's all your tips were always cash and this, that, and the other thing. Not at the club.
Right.
Everything gets charged and you get those tips come back on your paycheck, which is good and bad for different reasons. Pros, cons, right?
Yeah, exactly. I get that. Okay, last one. Top tip number 3. I don't know how to pronounce this name. We always put them up on the screen, so it's fine. It's just at Ugreen, but it's YGRENE. Ugreen. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, I'm just going to butcher it and stop saying it. I'm just going to do it. This one... This one's actually for you specifically, only because just before we started because before we started the podcast, Adam had to go and like nuke something to shove down his gullet because he didn't eat all day. So he had to go like throw something in the microwave. And so it was funny when you said that. I was like, I actually have a meme or a top tweet for that.
Nice.
So it just says, microwave, would you like your food too hot or too cold? Me, what if you cooked it just right? Microwave, what if you cooked it just right? Laugh my ass off. Okay, Goldilocks.
That's a weird thing with the fucking microwave, especially if you're cooking anything frozen, because it's always like nuclear hot on the outside and a fucking ice cube in the middle.
There's another one. I'll send it to you, but I'm going to paraphrase, but it's also, I'll just include it probably in our top tweets, but it was the same thing of like the microwave. Here's your hot bowl of cold food. And that's exactly what it is. You're like, yeah, it's a hot bowl of everything inside of it's cold for some reason. Like, how does that work? Anyway.
That's fucked up. There was also
microwaves.
Jim Gaffigan is a stand-up comedian. He's fucking
the Hot Pockets?
hilarious. Yeah. But when he's talking about like, you don't see that on a restaurant menu. Can I have the sea bass and you'll have the Hot Pocket? And the question about the Hot Pocket, is it served frozen in the middle? Absolutely. But it can also be served boiling lava hot. Will it hurt my mouth? It'll destroy your mouth.
Yes,
everything will taste like rubber for a month.
Oh, Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah.
It's so good. And
that
he's
whole
like,
bit, start to finish, chef's kiss. So good.
Diarrhea pocket.
Yeah. What ad are we going to run in Mexico? Caliente pocket.
That's so good. What a way to end episode 40, right? Just we go
made
from
it.
drive-in to Hot Pockets. Woohoo! We did it. If you guys are still here, thank you.
Yeah.
Don't forget to enter the contest because you need to get a mug to put your beverages in.
Yes.
I prefer them to be alcoholic. It can be anything that you want, though. No, I'm not gonna. No, you
we
do whatever you want to
recommend
do.
alcohol, but in a pinch, coffee will do.
I do. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know why I said that so sarcastically. That's exactly how we're framing this. But anyway, follow us on all the social medias. If you remember, we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, especially the YouTube right now. We're trying to get our subscribers up. Once we hit a certain threshold, we can start doing extra stuff with our channel.
Yeah.
And that would be great. If you are watching this video, that means you're watching the YouTube video, and you can just click the little fucking thing in the corner while I'm talking.
Just go do it.
Yeah,
do it.
Just record,
Please.
Just subscribe. It's it's a thing. So anyway, PaRANTingPodcast.com is the website. This was episode 40. So again, we're doing the giveaway. Do check for that. We want to make sure that you are fully aware of what you can win and how to win it. And we will, I guess we'll see you next week, right? That's the thing? That's what we say now?
We'll probably do this again next week. Look, we're on a roll. We haven't missed one in a while.
Yeah, I mean, if we take off next week, it might be 14 months before you see us again. So we better just do it next week.
We can't miss a week because then otherwise it's going to be a while. So we got to stay consistent.
ADHD problems, am I right?
But life, am I right?
Right. Thank you very much. In the comments, wherever, if you want to message us on any of the social medias I mentioned, or right in the comments on Twitter, or on YouTube. Twitter, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So on YouTube.
Yeah,
I
right
want to
YouTube.
know.
Yeah.
What is your favorite learning to drive story? It can be you. It can be your kids. It can be anybody in your family. I want to hear a crazy driving story from like when you were learning to drive, or whoever this person was, whether it was you, your kid, whatever. A learning to drive story. What is an insane thing that happened? Because I feel like everybody's got a handful of them.
Everyone, exactly. Like you've got at least a handful of stories.
There's no way anybody got behind the wheel of a car and were responsible always and never had a problem. It's just not a fucking thing.
And if you are, you're a fucking liar.
I don't believe you. So
I don't believe you.
Tell us what fucked up, or you're a liar. That's basically what we're saying. So
pretty much.
Until next week, get on the contest. Let us know. See you next week.
Bye, friends. Diarrhea Pocket.
How does this thing work?